Tomorrow morning, imagine waking up and discovering coffee doesn't exist. No espresso, no latte, no instant coffee, not even a single roasted coffee bean anywhere on earth. Now go back, not 1,000 years, but 10,000. What would you drink when you woke up? Because humans survived almost our entire history without coffee, and what they drank instead was much stranger and much older than you might expect. Here's the first surprise. Coffee drinking is actually the newcomer in this story. The coffee plant itself wasn't magically invented in the Middle Ages, but clear historical references to people drinking coffee only appear much later, in 15th century Yemen, where coffee became associated with Sufi communities. That means Egyptians building pyramids didn't start their morning with coffee. Ancient Romans didn't have espresso. Greek philosophers weren't arguing over cappuccinos. And prehistoric hunters certainly weren't carrying travel mugs into the wilderness. So if we keep moving backward, what replaces it? The obvious answer is also the most important: water. But water is only the beginning of the story. Because once humans learned that plants, grains, fruit, and animal products could transform liquids, they started creating drinks that would become part of ritual, nutrition, trade, status, and social life. And some of those drinks are astonishingly ancient. Before pottery, before farming, before cities, before recorded history, humans needed water. There was no prehistoric beverage industry. If you were moving across a landscape where water existed could determine where you stopped, where animals gathered, and whether your group could remain in an area. And this creates a strange problem for archaeologists. A special drink can leave grains, fats, plant chemicals, or other residues inside an ancient container. Plain water usually doesn't leave behind a convenient label announcing someone drank this 20,000 years ago. So the archaeological record becomes much more interesting when humans begin doing something to the water: grinding, heating, mixing, fermenting. And that brings us to a drink that may be far older than most people realize: beer. Around 13,000 years ago, people were using stone mortars at Rekhafet Cave in what is now Palestine. These people were Natufians. They lived before full-scale agriculture transformed the region. Researchers studying microscopic residues and wear inside the stone mortars concluded that some of them had been used to process wild wheat or barley, through steps consistent with malting, mashing, and fermentation. In other words, they may have been brewing cereal-based beer roughly 13,000 years ago, thousands of years before the pyramids, thousands of years before written language. And importantly, the researchers suggested the beverage was connected with ritual feasting. So this wasn't necessarily some prehistoric guy stumbling out of his cave with the Stone Age equivalent of a six-pack. The drink may have had a social and ceremonial purpose. There's a scientific debate here. Archaeologist David Itom challenged the beer interpretation, arguing that the evidence could represent cereal food processing rather than brewing. The original research team later defended its reconstruction. So the safest conclusion is not, we know exactly what prehistoric beer tasted like. We don't. The important point is that there is serious archaeological evidence suggesting humans were deliberately fermenting cereal drinks incredibly early, which creates an even bigger question. Was this happening only in one place? Not even close. Now jump across Asia to Jiahu, an early Neolithic settlement in China. Researchers analyzed residues absorbed into pottery vessels from the site. What they detected was not simply beer. It was a mixed fermented drink containing ingredients consistent with rice, honey, and fruit. Hawthorn fruit and possibly grape. And it dates to the 7th millennium BCE, more than 8,000 years ago. Think about what that means. Humans weren't simply drinking whatever liquid happened to be nearby. They were experimenting, combining ingredients, allowing microorganisms to transform sugars, producing beverages whose flavor, effects, and social meaning were entirely different from plain water. Long before coffee houses became gathering places, people were already gathering around special drinks. But agriculture introduced another possibility. This one didn't come from grains or fruit, it came from animals. For most of human evolutionary history, drinking milk from another animal simply wasn't part of adult human life. Then people domesticated cattle, sheep, and goats. And suddenly, humans had access to a renewable liquid food source. Scientists can identify dairy fats preserved inside prehistoric pottery. Analysis of more than 2,000 pottery vessels from the Near East and Southeastern Europe found evidence that milk was already being used by the 7th millennium BCE, that's roughly 8 to 9,000 years ago. And milk wasn't just another flavor, it contained energy and nutrients, and it could also be processed into other foods. But even here, there was no universal ancient diet. Dairy use differed enormously between populations. What people drank depended on which animals they kept, what their bodies tolerated, and what their environment allowed them to produce. Meanwhile, another fermented drink was developing its own enormous history: wine. In the South Caucasus, in what is now Georgia, archaeologists discovered pottery vessels containing chemical evidence associated with grape wine. Some of these vessels date to around 6000 BCE. That puts winemaking more than 7,000 years before coffee drinking appears clearly in historical sources. Again, notice the pattern. Water is being transformed. Wild and cultivated plants become beverages, grains become fermented drinks, fruit becomes wine. Domesticated animals provide milk. Different societies develop different drinking traditions. But none of this quite answers the question a modern coffee drinker is probably asking. Fine. They had water, milk, beer, and wine. But what gave them the kick? What did they drink when they actually wanted stimulation? This is where the coffee story gets interesting. Because coffee was late, caffeine wasn't. Travel to ancient China. Researchers studying plant remains from the mausoleum complex of Western Han Emperor Jing found chemical biomarkers and microscopic structures associated with tea. The emperor died in 141 BCE, and material from the burial complex produced evidence showing tea was present roughly 2,100 years ago. The same research notes that the earliest unambiguous written reference to drinking tea dates to 59 BCE, and tea contains caffeine. So, centuries before coffee drinking appears in Yemen, some people in China already had access to a caffeinated beverage. Now we're finally approaching something a modern coffee drinker would recognize: a plant prepared as a drink, consumed partly for its stimulating qualities. But even tea wasn't humanity's universal morning beverage. For enormous parts of the ancient world, people had no tea at all. And that's the mistake hidden inside the original question. We imagine ancient humans asking, "What should I drink instead of coffee?" They weren't. Coffee feels essential to us because it's embedded in our routines. Wake up, boil water, brew, drink, start working. But that routine is cultural. Ancient people had their own routines. One community might drink mostly water and use fermented beverages during gatherings. A farming society might have access to dairy. A wine-producing region might develop strong traditions around grapes. Parts of ancient China developed tea culture, and thousands of years earlier, prehistoric communities were already experimenting with fermented cereals. There was never one global substitute waiting for coffee to be invented. There was an entire world of drinks, and maybe that's the most interesting part. Coffee didn't create humanity's relationship with beverages. It joined a story that was already thousands of years old. Humans had been grinding plants, fermenting grains, processing milk, making wine, and eventually brewing tea, long before anyone roasted coffee beans for a drink. So tomorrow morning, when you pick up that cup of coffee, you're participating in something both modern and incredibly ancient. Not coffee itself, the ritual, taking water, adding something valuable to it, sitting with other people, and turning a basic biological necessity into culture. Coffee may be relatively new, but humans have been making water more interesting for a very, very long time.